Adam was there. And when I can't explain it, it was something kind of just mysterious. When Adam showed up, Rebecca landed in me.
Hey all, I'm Anna Rumor with PopCulture, and today we have with us the one and only Anne Hathaway to talk about WeCrashed on Apple TV Plus, streaming March 18th. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you. I don't mean to just do this right off the bat, but I am not the one and only. There was one a few hundred years ago, but we're fine.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh my gosh. You're like one of the few people you can't really say that to.
But I appreciate the sentiment. That is just so kind, and I'm sure I don't deserve it.
Oh, no, not at all. Well, I'm excited for WeCrashed. Your character, Rebecca, is fascinating. What was it about playing her that really appealed to you?
Thank you very much. I'm so enjoying watching people be excited about it. Like, I haven't had a project like this in a while where people stop me on the street just to tell me how excited they are to see it. Rebecca is fascinating. She's fascinating and complex and interesting and human. And so I just tried to honor all of those things, like I have a lot of love for human beings. I feel like we're always equal parts, admirable traits and, aspects to ourselves. There are aspects to ourselves where we haven't quite arrived at yet, but we're all hopefully growing towards something. And I just tried to reflect that with her. She had such big ambitions, and it's painful when you don't fulfill all of the ambitions that you have. And so I just always tried to be sensitive to that and assume that her intentions were good and that this might just be one part of her life and that her story can go on from here.
Well, and playing opposite Jared as Adam, how did you two play off each other? Because it was amazing to watch.
Oh, thank you. We just played. Literally, we just played. There wasn't like meetings where we sat down and strategized how we were going to do things. He showed up, I think it was my third day of filming. We'd done a lot of flashback stuff up to that point. And he showed up and Adam was there. And when I can't explain it, it was something kind of just mysterious. When Adam showed up, Rebecca landed in me. And I'd been like trying to find the voice. And I remember as soon as I heard him, he was like a tuning fork and I just knew how to speak. And by the third take, we were improvising and dancing and just falling. And it just felt like that. And then for 6 months, we just tried to honor that. We didn't really consciously do anything. We just kept opening and trusting and being really grateful to each other.
Absolutely. And it definitely shows. Honestly, your performance, I was kind of rooting for Rebecca. Is that what you intended, or is that just us watching it back?
I don't know. I hope so. I hope so. There was a phrase that I came up with when reading a book about Kabbalah, and she was very open about the influence Kabbalah had on her life, and it was judge all persons favorably. And the thing that I like about that is, for thousands of years, we've been encouraged to judge not lest you be judged. And I find that's a really good approach to life. It's also a really good approach to acting. And I want you to root for my characters. We all know what happened. And for me, the interesting part of a character is the complexity. So if we know what's going to happen and we can take someone that with a complicated story and get you to see all the complications and all the nuance and maybe even recognize parts of yourself in them, that to me was a really worthy challenge.
Absolutely. And it definitely shows. I cannot wait for everyone to get to see this. And thank you so much for your time. Hey all, I'm Anna Rumor with PopCulture, and today we have with us WeCrashed showrunners Lee Eisenberg and Drew Crevello. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us. I'm super excited to talk to you about the show. I mean, it's a fascinating story. Can you tell me a little bit, both of you, what drew you to this story?
Lee, you want to go? Want to start?
Sure. We had listened to the podcast, and we had always been obsessed with this story, from the outside. And I personally, I love rise and fall stories, and I enjoy the rise and the montages of people putting together desks and trying to hustle and get the money. I love that. And then the fall obviously is something that you sometimes do. You want to look away, but you can't. You kind of watch it through this. But really what kind of separated this story for us was the love story between Adam and Rebecca. And that was the thing that kind of sold us. It really differentiated it from others that we had seen in the past. And as storytellers, that was the thing that was most exciting to us. How did these two people falling in love and coming together form this $47 billion company.
Absolutely. What about for you, Drew?
Yeah, it really is. It's everything Lee said. And I think as we, the initial thing that draws you in is that kind of like delicious rise and fall, right? But as we started to kind of learn more about Adam and Rebecca as people, that really is where, for me, it kind of really hooked my interest. It just felt like an opportunity to do kind of a character study of these two fascinating folks, but also like to take a look at the moment in time we're in, kind of in terms of our culture with throwing these vast amounts of money at founders. And so that was also part of it, that it's really, the sort of fake it until you make it culture, the kind of FOMO, fear of missing out. So those two people in this moment in time just felt like a really interesting story to tell.
Absolutely. And Anne and Jared in these main roles, their chemistry together, their portrayal of the characters is so interesting. Can you tell me a little bit about bringing them in, whoever wants to take this question?
I mean, the casting process, we wrote the script, we wrote a 30-page Bible kind of outlining what the series was, and kind of had on our wall, our fantasy cast. And we're like, well, Jared Leto obviously would be incredible. Anne Hathaway would be incredible. We're not going to get them, but let's just if we're writing towards people, let's write towards them. And when we get other people, we won't mention it. Right. And the script was submitted.
And by the way, Lee, just in terms of why them, we needed someone in Adam who was who basically had a rock star's charisma. And Jared is not only a chameleonic actor, but also a rock star. So anyway, sorry, continue.
No, absolutely. And so we Zoomed with Jared, and he, he's invested in tech companies, and he just asked so many questions about the world and how we were treating the characters and what our approach was. And, after a few Zooms, he was in, and then there's a transformation with Jared as an actor that he goes into character. And so for all of pre-production, we were talking to Jared Leto, and then all of a sudden the camera started rolling and we called him Adam, and we were with Adam Newman for the next 4 months. And then only afterwards, during post, as we were editing the show, we met Jared Leto again.
That's awesome. Well, I really appreciate you talking to me about this. I can't wait for everyone to see it when it streams on March 18th on Apple TV Plus. And thank you for your time today.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.